What's up, brother? Joshua Pellicer here. I'm the author of the Tao of Badass. If you read that book, if you saw that book, if you got into that book or that material at all that I wrote, it was about 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago, that book came out, and it was a phenomenon. It was really awesome that it came out. But I have not updated it at all for the modern time. Also, I didn't go into any advanced techniques. And I want to tell you a little bit about why. Before I wrote that book, I was selling boot camps, and boot camps were my bread and butter. They were $3,000 to $5,500 a person. We were selling like crazy, but I always had to chase down people who were interested in buying. I always had to have long conversations with them. I had to spend a lot of time, and I had to teach one person at a time or groups at a time. And although it was lucrative and I was making money with it, I felt like I wasn't reaching enough people. And I felt like the content was just kind of stuck wherever I could deliver it. And only the people who had the money could get the information. Now, if you did read the Tao of Badass, you probably understand why. It's very powerful stuff. It's very deep material, as in the content goes into a lot of detail, and it was very to me personal. A lot of the secrets that I learned hard earned from a lot of mistakes, a lot of rejections, a lot of notes, a lot of lessons, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of training and in psychology, body language, and many, many other areas of fascinating influence and attraction. And when I wrote the book, I thought, what can I do to produce the biggest impact that I can with just a book? So I found that for myself whenever I was teaching boot camps, that I walk into the room, I could have a blindfold on and I could say, all right, here's your main problems. Without looking at anybody, I could tell you this problem, this problem, this problem, you're definitely having it. And I definitely need to teach you about this. And so once that happened so many times, I saw the pattern, I realized that I could write that stuff into a book. Now, it was only about 20% of the stuff that I teach in a class. And, but it got about 80% of the results that guys were seeing. Now, that would take the average guy from being average into being very much above average, right? And if you've applied some of the material from the Tao of Badass, you know what I'm talking about. It changes everything. Makes you much more attractive as a man, confident as a man, socially adept, and then I think even most importantly, it gives you this sort of centeredness to find out who you really are. Now, that might seem like a lot and kind of grandiose for a book about dating and attraction, but as men, love and attraction is very close to our confidence. We're not just around here thinking, oh, okay, we're great out of the womb. We have a lot of insecurities and fears, and we get through these things by proving to ourselves that we're valuable. And that was what the book did. It showed you how to correct the behaviors, find the beliefs behind those behaviors, and fix those beliefs. Now, here's the thing. In writing that book, because it was only 20% of the material that I taught that generated 80% of the results, the remaining 80% of the material that I taught that produced the final 20% of results was very, very advanced compared to this. And I didn't write it into the book. I didn't make it into any products. It has to do with topics like cold reading, like personality typing, spot typing, reading very complex, very subtle body language cues and facial recognition, micro expressions, things like that. And also the principles of influence, and even how to notice if someone's trying to manipulate you, how to use body language to do most of the talking, things like this. And I grazed over this in the Tao of Badass, but it wasn't complete. So many, many years later, here we are. I think that the book, you can just look it up online if you don't remember, and look up reviews for it. It's a testament to itself. I think that it speaks for itself. It was a very complete book, and I loved it, and it's good like it is. However, I've been wanting to write an advanced book for a long time. What is the next thing? How do I get that last 80% of the material that I taught into the minds and into the hands of the guys who read the first book? Whenever I first wrote the book, there were very few people that were reading it, right? It was just taking off. But now that hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of men have read this book, The Tao of Badass, I can now say, hey, look, if you've read it and it impacted you, I have the next thing for you. And that's what this video is about. Now, there's a couple things I want to show you in this video. The first one is that AI is changing everything, and we are integrating AI into Tao of Badass 2.0. Tao of Badass 2.0 is coming out this year. We have a founding members club that I'll talk to you about in a moment that you can get a chance to get in for a massive discount if you feel like it. And I'm going to demonstrate some of the AI right now on this call. So I took all the material that I had that was the advanced stuff and I put it into a playground for you. I'm going to share that with you right now. This to me is the next level of training in when it comes to dating and attraction. Okay, now what you're looking at here right now is the AI empowered Tao of Badass 2.0. Now, this is an AI search tool specifically designed, a chat environment just for the Tao of Badass. What you can do here is really amazing. Ultimately, what we wanted to create was one place where you could go to search all of the books from the Tao of Badass and every single thing I've ever taught, including the Tao 2.0 and any recent books that I come out with, which I have several that I've come out with recently, and search them and get your answer. This way, you can kind of step into the evolution of content production, of book reading, and of digesting and learning new techniques. And of course, we get to do that by guiding you in the Tao of Badass. So here's the input window. You type whatever questions you want. I'm going to show you a couple of those here. So I come to the top. This is explain how to use negative body language in flirting. Now, this is really important for you to notice because if you type this into ChatGPT, it will give you just the most crap response in the world. In fact, let me show you what kind of crap response it does give you, and you can kind of get a sense for it. So here's ChatGPT. I'm going to go ahead and do this and just literally paste the question. Oops. Let me grab it here again. Last thing here. There it is. Copy. All right, I'm going to come back over here. That was a document that I had saved up there. Let's try this. All right. Explain how to use negative body language in flirting. Okay, playing hard to get is a delicate and nuanced approach. It's important to remember while using this method sometimes can create an aura of mystery to increase interest. Uh, it should always be respectful and mindful. Limited eye contact, turning the body away, crossing the arms. This is like a closed off thing. So what they're doing here is they're confusing uh, negative body language for negative responses in body language. If we come back to the Tao Badass 2.0 tool, you can see it talks about positioning and orientation, not overdoing positive signals, controlling your own space, breaking physical contact, how to break touch, disengagement strategies, boxing out, when not to box someone out, when to box them out, subtle withdrawal, and how to avoid chasing. This is all about creating the allure, and this is straight from my material. Now, you read my book. If you did read The Tao of Badass, you read it because you were looking for specific information. The rest of the world had it wrong. And that's the point. You don't want to just jump into ChatGPT and ask a question and say, oh, cool, give me that answer, AI. It'll give you some random thing that the most of the world has wrong. So it's going to give it to you wrong. This is going to give it to you right. So you can jump in then. You can ask it to explain a scenario in which you're doing it. Imagine a situation in which you actually use negative body language properly and it increases attraction. Of course, visualizing success increases your success. I also have different modes, and this is a really cool feature here. So I can come in and I can, throw the weirdest kind of attraction, interest, sort of flirtatious statements out there. And if I click on this little button down here at the bottom, it's underneath the video, and you can see where it says Banter Battle Mode is on. So while Banter Battle Mode is on, I am flirting with a girl and she is rejecting me. And this builds up my ability to deal with that kind of rejection and to respond with something flirtatious, not to take it personally. So many guys were looking for this. They're looking for some banter environment where they can practice. I built one into here. It uses all of my strategies. It also burns you, and it's hilarious, in my opinion. And you won't get burned worse than this. This is as bad as it'll get in your life. I designed it so that you can read through, get rejected, you can flirt, and as you flirt better, it will begin to respond better to you, so you can see if you're doing a good job. I also have coaching mode. If you click that on instead, then you'll get coaching from me. So if you say, explain how to flirt and banter with a girl in a group. Okay. Now, what I love to do, and if you've known me since this time throughout these years and you've seen me teach, you know that I like to have a very specific kind of advice. I give advice based on specific scenarios. I ask a lot of questions. I try to get clear with whatever it is that you're asking. What's the outcome? Things like this. And so I trained this JoshBot, this coaching bot, to have the same strategy as me. So you can jump in here and you can get coaching from me. It will ask you questions. It'll give you advice, and it will give you specific things to say, right? And it all pulls from my material. It's not going to go out and get some random stuff. Like I said, there are hundreds of different books and training programs that I've added to this, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if you bought them all separately. And they're all in one tool. And I want to show you how to get access to this tool. I'm going to keep on adding new things as I continue. I started a new group called the Founding Members Club. Of course, we had the old Founding Members group. And the old founding members got access to all kinds of really cool things. They got calls with me, regular calls, things like this. And I'm about to jump on a call now in just a moment. And I'm going to teach that group, the Founding Members Club. I'm going to get to meet them. And I'm going to do that every single week. I've been doing this for almost a year now. And I closed the doors on it, just let a few people in and close the doors. And now we're opening the doors again. In about 6 months, we're going to release this program officially. Right, we're going to release Tao 2.0, the book. We're going to release this AI tool. We're going to release the Founding Members Club. But the Founding Members Club is going to be a lot more money. It's going to be about $67 to $97 a month, and is worth 10 times, 100 times that if you actually use this advice, and it will change your life forever. Also, you get to come to live calls with me every week, which of course are extremely valuable and very rare. And only the guys in that group will get that. Now, you're not going to pay that if you want to join now. Before that time is up, if you can join soon, you're going to get access to the early members, and the early members only pay $20 a month. $20 a month gets you access to this tool, gets you early access to the Tao of Badass 2.0, gets you the updated Tao, which has already been produced, gets you the Inner Game, my last book that I produced that I didn't release outside of this group. It's exclusive to this group alone. It gets you access to a myriad of different Tao of Badass products, programs for you to go through, and of course, access to the members area where you get to come to weekly calls with me. So if that sounds valuable to you, if you're interested, I'm going to tell you what you can do next, how you can join, and I want you to jump in, introduce yourself, and start coming to the classes and events as soon as possible. Get access to this tool, start using it, and watch your progress evolve rapidly. Click that button you see below this video now. You'll get a chance to join, and when it's full, and we're turning it off and no one can get in. Obviously, it's completely worth the full price, which I'm super happy to release it for. And most of the guys in the world are going to get in at that full price, and they're going to get access later on. But I love to have a group of guys that I can share this with early, that I can get feedback from, and that I can talk to personally. So if that's you, if you've been waiting for this, click the button below now, and I'll see you on the inside.